Hi, guys, and welcome back to Bar Exam. I am one of the hosts of the show. I am Allie, but I'm here with the rest of our Bar Exam crew. So say hello and welcome to Mr. Shane G. How you doing, Shane?
What up, though? Happy to be here.
What up? What's up? And then we also have Eric G in the building. Hi, Eric.
What's the deal? What's the deal?
What's up? And then we have Mr. Marcus TV in the building as well. What's up, Marcus?
What's going on?
What's up? So, you guys already know, or if you don't know, on this show, we love getting into lyrics and breaking them down. So, we'll definitely be getting into that today. Coming before the bar is Kanye West's new song off of his album, Cuck. So, I'm sure you guys can't wait to hear about that one. But before we get into that, I also want you guys to check out Eric G's Discovery for the week because he always finds new artists or new songs that you definitely want to have on your radar. So, Eric, go ahead and let us know what is this week's discovery, and then we can get into the topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming up before the discovery list this week, I'm actually going to keep it sweet and short, and the only reason is because an artist that I brought up here on the show before, named Bucky Malone, has just dropped his second album. I did say a couple of weeks ago that there was another artist that did have an album on the way. That new album is out now. Again, his name is Bucky Malone, and that album is called Loitering in Jet. So if you want to go pick that up, that album is out right now.
Dope. Okay, cool. So you just got one album for us to check out, but that's cool because I mean that's already an artist that some people might be a little bit more familiar with, and they can have a little bit something fresh and new to listen to. So thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Now, he's not the only one who dropped a new album. Okay, so there's also been some other people dropping albums lately. One person that always seems to get our attention is Ye, the man formerly known as Kanye West. So recently he got our attention because he dropped a new album called Cuck. And one, that title is insane. It means exactly what you think it means. But he took us a step further, as he always does. And so he had a song on there called Cousins, where he revealed to the world that he basically molested one of his cousins as he was growing up. And it was not a cousin of the opposite sex. It was actually his male cousin. So people were very uneasy about that, especially when they realized the power dynamic with Ye being the molester. It was very, very awkward for everyone to find out about this news, and for him to present it in such a casual way was very wild for many. But he's also, you know him, he never knows when to stop. So he's also added in another song for us all to listen to. This time he decided to debut it on someone's live stream. So there is someone called Sneako. Now, I don't really know this person for real. Guys, do you know if he's a producer? Is he a live streamer?
Sneako is a live streamer. He's one of those dudes. He's a young version of what he thinks Andrew Tate is. So,
okay,
he came around kind of in the Kevin Samuels era, like when Kevin Samuels, gained his popularity, telling women, "Oh, you're average. You're not going to have the man you want." And
right.
Doing the same thing to dudes. To be completely fair, he was shitting on dudes too.
He was.
But obviously, the red pill YouTube space kind of leaned heavily towards the woman side, right? So then you had your Fresh and Fits, you had your, different people like that. Sneako is one of those guys. So he came out basically, alpha men do this, and you got to get all your money and blah, 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 and just have a harem of women and fuck bitches and blah. Like, he was one of those type of guys, right? So, but he's had mad changes. So he's went from that to being like a devout Muslim to also being a cuck, a self-admitted cuck. He admitted this on a podcast where he said he was laying in the bed while his girlfriend was getting smashed by some dude. So self-admitted cuck. Yes, he said this out of his own mouth. I don't even have to say allegedly on it. I heard it myself. I could play the clip, so it's out there.
Insane. Wait. Marcus is a little bit shocked though.
then he went back to being a devout Muslim, and he's all over the place with it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But Marcus is shook. Look at him.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's a cook.
Cuck.
Cuck.
C-U-K.
Cook.
Yeah.
Cook.
Cold is what that short.
Yes.
And
You do know what that is, right?
Right.
Explain it again.
All right. So there's two definitions I'll give you.
Okay.
The first definition, I'll give you the dictionary definition. Dictionary definition is somebody who gets sexual pleasure out of seeing their partner have sex with other people. Okay, so that's one form. That's the dictionary standard definition. Now, the other way that it's used in everyday language is basically somebody who will sacrifice their own morals or will do things to purposely make themselves look bad in order to get some benefit from somebody else. So, for example, when people say they're like cucking themselves to Donald Trump or whatever, a lot of these people don't agree with what Donald Trump is doing, but they know, I got to go on and eat this one. Otherwise, it's going to be worse. Yeah, it's going to be embarrassing. Yeah, I'm going to look like a sellout, but whatever. I got to roll with it. They're being cooked to Donald Trump. So that's one way of using it. And then the other way is, like I said, you know, Kanye looking at Kim get smashed and getting horny looking at it.
2025 is a wild place right now.
It is. It is.
It's a wild place. Like it's just wild. Like, I mean, because it's my mind
is nigga speechless. Oh boy.
My mind is a hamster wheel right now because like if you remember what that viral video years ago, and the dude was like, yo, you supposed to be my apple, my cinnamon rose.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Right. So for me, that brother was in love. I've experienced that type of love. There's no way that like my cinnamon apple, my rose, I'm gonna let get cream cheese frosted by somebody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't need no strudel dipping in your apple cinnamon, right? Like that's just not. There's nothing about that that's enjoyable. Okay, but then you have guys like Diddy. You know what I'm saying? That was his thing too, apparently. Like with Cassie, right? Like he was flying in male prostitutes, like allegedly dudes who were supposed to be like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could be professional actors, I'll say it that way. Like them type of dudes, you know what I'm saying? He was flying them in on purpose and he was doing his thing in the corner. You know that chair that they always have in every hotel room that's just in the corner?
Yeah.
You know what they call that? They call that a cuck chair.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. Even the furniture gets its own name. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
insane. And it's only crazy to me because
it's
real. So I only feel like cuck has like just now recently became a popular word.
Yeah, I'm updating my settings in my Marriott account to never get a room.
Amen.
You just
Seriously.
I'm doing that in real time.
You never
I'm telling you, man, it's a thing.
That's a very smart thing to do. But yes,
cuck aside though, like what do we think about the Hail Hitler lyrics? You know what I mean?
So yeah, let me just further explain that. Yeah, basically he decided to like preview the song on Sneako's live stream. And it was interesting because obviously the content was a lot for people. I mean, the name itself is wild. It's called Hail Hitler. And of course, in the song, he repeats that line over and over again. But also another thing that I realized just now through diving through the lyrics and stuff was that he also shot at Drake in this song too. So he says something like, all my niggas, Nazis, Hail Hitler. So he continues to repeat that. So that's the line I'm talking about that also mimics the title. But when it comes to Drake, he says, niggas be acting like faggots. Sorry, guys. Sorry I had to say that. But I think they might be Drake. So he says in total, niggas might be acting like F word. I think they might be Drake. So he's trying to say that he's trying to expose Drake as being in the closet, which I just am like, bro, how the hell are you going to expose yourself one day and then try to expose someone else? Like, we're just trying to keep up with you. Like, we can barely tell, you know, if you're in a manic state or not at any given point. So let's just focus on you, buddy. But I am really shocked that, like, all of a sudden he now hates Drake again. I could have sworn just a couple weeks ago he was praising Drake for something, or saying that like there really is no beef between them.
But I feel like he was shooting at Kendrick also, like not that long ago, right? Am I wrong about that, Eric?
No. He's been shooting at everybody. Like, here's the thing about it. Was he not shooting at Drake for like a hot second? Yes. But it very quickly changed from that. Very, very quickly. And again, I know I've said this on the show, so I feel like I sound like a broken record on this subject, but look at every single past collaborator, even from just this year alone, that he's gone on to diss. Cardi, Kendrick, Cole, Drake, like the list goes on. Future, like what? It doesn't really seem to end, and it doesn't really seem like there's a resolution in sight with a lot of these people. He was dissing Sneako not too long ago, so I don't even understand how that game got patched up. Like,
yeah, I don't get it.
I said this earlier. Kanye,
that's amazing.
Kanye's mental illness is that he's the human form of clickbait. Like, yes. It's this, like, he and relevant, like, because he's so not relevant but still relevant, he's in a weird place, because as many people pay attention, nobody pays attention.
Yeah,
it's almost, you remember that 3-6 Mafia, the most known unknown type shit? That's what it's like. That, like, it's almost, if you know, you know. Like, Kanye is in a wild ass place, but he's human clickbait. Like, what you said earlier about the cousin. Mm-hmm. Honestly, between the three of y'all, do y'all even believe it?
I called bullshit on that last week.
No.
Yeah. Really? So, y'all don't believe it?
I don't know.
What? Like, no. I believe it. Because I'm just like, what straight man really goes out of his way to lie about that?
One who wants
Kanye has kind of proven that he's kind of lied about a lot over the past couple of years. So to me, I just don't put it past him. The other thing too was, the point of if it's true or not. This is one of the first times that the news cycle kind of just went on by. Yeah, we're talking about it because it's quite an interesting subject to dive into. But does anybody really care about this?
No.
And I think that it's
not
kind
really.
of to Marcus's point.
And that's kind of the main thing, is that this is the first time that the news cycle is coming out with something controversial that Kanye's doing, that people are just kind of like,
right by.
All right.
Yeah.
Going
that's
on
very
about
true.
My day now.
I think there's two things going on here that I think is important for people to pay attention to. One, I feel like Kanye should be diagnosed with like the first like mental disease caused by the internet. Like, I really think that he should be diagnosed with something, so that like if we see that there's more people who are clickbait, like rage monsters like him, then we can just be like, oh, that's the Ye effect or something like that. You know what I mean? So we don't get pulled into like analyzing, and it's like, no, you just have problems. You cannot be on the internet because you will always do something stupid, you know? That's one.
It's already been diagnosed.
Well, I mean, I know he's diagnosed with like bipolar and, you know, manic depression and all types of stuff. But I'm talking about, like, I really truly believe that we need to make a whole new categorization for those who truly only act bananas when they're on the internet. Like, I really feel like Kanye is the type of person to just kick on or start shucking and jiving if he thinks someone's going to pull out their phone and hoping that he's going to get some streams. And I really truly believe that it's partly a mental illness too. Like, he's a narcissist, but this has gone like to the umpteenth level. So Yeah, I think that there needs to be some conversation about like these trolls, these rage bait people truly getting this type of like gratification from doing stupid shit like this and it being like an addiction. You know what I mean? Like I really think that he's truly addicted. But also my other thing was damn, I almost forgot. Wait, I remember. I think also another thing that's important is that we're really seeing in real time how being someone who is known for clickbait or being the person who's like the boy that cries wolf is just, yes, it'll work for a while, but it's not really sustainable because yes, you might get people to turn around, but are we now running to listen? Are we now running to stream? Are we going to go buy something? Like, no, we're all just kind of turning around and being like, oh, this crazy ass dude again. Like, okay. And then we get back to our shit. So I think that while a lot of people took notes from his game book, over the years of doing the whole the shock and awe effect. But I think that we're now seeing that after a decent amount of time, you got to get a new strategy, buddy. Like this whole, like you can't just continue to think I'm just going to continue to up myself because it's not shocking anymore. It's not equating to sales anymore. Just kind of looking sad.
There was a time back in the late 2000s going on early 2010s. And I remember always hearing that Kanye never had a phone, that he always used to work and do like his best work when he didn't have a phone, when he would kind of cut himself off from technology. And like all of his artists would kind of say that. Like I remember, especially like around the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy era, like I remember a lot of them would say like he operates best when he doesn't really, when like he knows a little bit about what's going on, but when he doesn't know too much, so he doesn't even like to have a phone. It was almost like when he didn't have a phone or didn't have that much access, that was when we got the best version of him. And then too much access at a certain point, we kind of saw what we saw from him after a certain point.
I can't think of the girl name, but I want to say early 2000s, maybe 2010, 08, social media was kind of in its infancy of what it was, like of influencing. And it was this girl who was going viral like everywhere was, but then she ended up getting deported. And she was like
Cat Stacks.
Wow, I forgot about her.
So when you said, "Oh, I want to have like Kanye needs to be diagnosed," Cat Stacks was like the first person who was like, "I have like that was my first version of what are you doing on the internet? Like it's not that like that was." So I think it wouldn't be the Ye effect; it would be the Cat Stacks effect.
Okay, that's
like
good.
Or, I mean, if you want to take it back a step further beyond the internet, but just that type of behavior in general, like just, putting wild shit on Front Street that is normally taboo or frowned upon or whatever. Superhead.
No.
She wrote the book.
The reason I say she... So I'll say Superhead for a different reason, not for clickbait and light. She told her whole story. She just did it.
You don't think that's the equivalent of clickbait though?
No, because it was all true. Clickbait,
right? But it was salacious. No, I guess that's my point. It's not necessarily because it's true. It's because of the fact that you're being messy, right? That's the thing. That was the selling point.
It's okay. I'll give you that, but simultaneously, selling point. It was also authentic, and it was also behind closed doors, and it was also never heard before. And it was kind of like, and then it was kind of like the who's who because of the names that she did release. So it was all of those things all at once, not just one singular thing.
For sure.
It covered multiple bases.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can just see something like, oh no, that's just clickbait. Just that, like they only were in that room just to tell, like it's just one thing. Whereas that was not. She really did these things with these people, and she was supposed to keep her mouth shut, and she decided to flip the script and write a book.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only reason I say she's a little different, where it's not really kind of clickbaity. But Cat Stacks was literally 4 views.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forgot all about her.
Well, but what I'll say though, the
and
reason
even though
why
she
I
got
say
deported, I wondered.
yeah. I was gonna say
Right.
the reason why I throw them in the same category is I feel like Cat Stacks was doing the same thing Superhead was doing. She was just doing it on the internet. Because I mean, maybe there were some lies in there, but from what I understand, everything Cat Stacks was saying was true, as far as the dudes that she was messing with and all of that type of stuff. Like, so I thought that was part of the problem. That's why, like, it was actually wilder in her situation because it was online, but because it was true too.
I think you can look at them in the same vein, but I think I do separate the two, just because one kind of was happening in real time, while the other one was an accumulation of time told into one long story.
That's
through
true.
a book. Whereas everything Cat Stacks was doing, it was happening as time, in real time. We could see it as it was happening.
Yes. That's a big difference. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the same nigga saying that George Bush doesn't care about black people, saying that all his niggas is Nazis? How do we feel about that?
He's the same guy wearing a swastika chain right now, so I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah.
Right, same coon.
It's just like him.
Decided to
It's just like him putting on the
KKK
Jesus
hood
piece.
Like
the KKK, black KKK hood insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the opposite of
but
putting
also
on the Jesus piece from back then and putting on the swastika now. It's no difference to me.
Just
because of the symbolism and everything, like the hip hop chain specifically.
So this is gonna sound crazy, but trust me, I'm going somewhere with this, right?
ISO on Marcus, go.
We all know how we feel about R. Kelly, right? Yeah. Everybody hates the crimes that he's convicted of, accused of, or said that he did. Everybody hates, but people love his music, right? People still play his music. We still play his music, you know.
Right.
He will, quote unquote, almost say his music is immortal, you know. Kanye has a similar effect, because just what you said, the Kanye with George, like when he was for the culture and everything that he did, we loved him. This man still made easily one of the best gospel albums to date. The choir is fire.
Oh yeah.
See, without question, his like, you could argue the point of musical genius between the two. It's a 1A 1B situation in terms of.
But at that point, though, like, I don't know, like, and the only reason is because, like, with certain genres of music, the authenticity matters, right? Like hip hop has gotten away from that, but its roots are like authenticity with the artist, like they're telling their real stories. Gospel is also one of those type of genres, not necessarily telling your own story, but your relationship with God. People assume that most gospel singers have a real relationship with God. So again, I ask, like, the same dude who's saying Hail Hitler, you know what I'm saying? Like, put the Jewish stuff aside. If he hates Jewish people, all right, whatever. Like, Hitler hated black people too. Like, you didn't want your own people liberated through Jesus and all of this type of stuff. Like, Hitler didn't want that so it still doesn't make sense. Like,
when Kanye came out with the gospel, I think he had a relationship. I think that was authentic.
But that's what I'm saying, though. You don't see, like, you don't feel like that's a contradiction with what he's saying now?
No, because maybe I'll say this about my personal self.
Okay.
I've seen people touched by mental illness up close and to extremes. So, like, and at some point, you just have to realize that that's just the person, you know. Like, no matter how crazy it is on one end, and then how, I mean, the fictional version of this is Franklin from Snowfall. Look at where he started the show and where he ended the show.
Right.
You know, that's the exact same person, and it was through drugs, not through mental illness. But you know, we've seen the same. We've seen the rise, high, so all of these things kind of happen. I don't feel like I don't feel like Kanye is less of the culture, more Kanye's oh shit. Antonio Brown.
Okay.
Another the football player.
Yeah.
We widely acknowledge that he is a walking case of CTE.
Mm-hmm.
Every that's not even debatable whether or not he has it or not, because they actually have the hit to where he got hit in the head and was carted off the field, and then his behaviors and everything kind of changed.
You know what?
He went from
you got a good
a
point.
quiet receiver, Russell. It's almost like to make this comparison, he went from a Russell Wilson to a Future.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
an excellent. Yeah.
Overnight.
It really is.
So, and if you don't think his brain has something like do it, so we acknowledge it and say, oh yeah, that's just this. So that's the same way I feel about Kanye. But I mean, how many people are gonna, subscribe to Kanye detriment of Kanye?
Right.
I mean,
and I also have a question. I really also want to know, like, if I also kind of am curious if whether or not you guys believe people could get past the subject matter, could get past even the title of the name, if it actually was a good song. Like, I really feel as though the public will give you a lot of leeway if you can make a hit. Like, that's why I also feel like Marcus bringing up R. Kelly was genius, because he's a great example of a nigga who has definitely done some dirt. And normally, if it was a dude we knew or knew of, we'd be like, ain't nobody talking to him. Fuck him. We ain't supporting his place if he owns a restaurant or an establishment or whatever.
Right.
But when it's come to R. Kelly, it's like, well, we love these hits. We can't let it go. So yeah, fuck him. But we're going to keep the music. Whereas with Kanye, it's starting to seem like people are kind of also like, you can go ahead and get rid of him and that funky ass song, Whereas before it used to be like, yo, I don't really like his views, but I'll listen to his music. So do you think that it really does matter, like, if it actually has playability? Like, if you can actually play it and you like what it sounds like, can you get past the subject?
I mean, it's possible. I think with certain artists, it's really good music and people are just going to rush to it anyway because of who they have been in the past and because of the way that they've stamped their legacy. Now, in this day and age, I think it gets a little trickier because of how much you say and how much is documented and how much is actually out there. And with Kanye West, he said a whole lot of shit past 10, 20 years. Like, we can't act like Kanye is brand new or anything. So he said a whole lot of shit that is recorded, documented. If you want to go find something that Kanye has probably believed in that he said at one point, you could probably go online and find at least one or two sound bites where he's probably contradicted himself on a lot of these beliefs. So I think with certain artists, I think it is a little easier because they're able to kind of get by the scapegoat of being a little more reserved in their approach, not saying as much to the media when they're going out and giving these interviews, giving a little bit to press, but not giving them the entire world, saying more of what actually who you're trying to give out as an artist in the actual music rather than online. And with Kanye West, I think it's just a large quantity of both of them, and it gets harder and harder to choose between the two because yes, while we have a great amount of music to choose from that has been really good throughout the years, there also has been a decline in that music, which also wasn't helped by the constant going online and contradicting yourself over and over again throughout your belief system throughout the years. So I just think in his case, it's rare because he has almost made it impossible to go back on so much shit that he said, whereas other artists have the luxury of being able to fall because not as much is really out there. Now, in an R. Kelly situation, something like that, it's a little bit different because you're doing some shit that you can't come back from. But in this case, it's a little bit different because this is all statements that Kanye is making that has kind of dug himself into this grave. Where other artists, they're kind of able to rely on just strictly the music as long as it's good enough.
I like that. Yeah, you make a really good point, because I think that makes a lot of sense. Where you're right. I think that people don't realize that nowadays, yes, it is a blessing that you can be able to interact with your audience so much, but it also can be very much a curse if it's something controversial, and like it's going to be hard for you to clean it up or for you to change your opinion in the future. So that's another thing. The internet will not let you live.
Do we think that Kanye can't make a hit?
I don't think it's that necessarily.
Exactly.
I think he can make a hit. Like, I think it's more like, because I kind of want to get back to Allie's question for a second, because I have a slightly different take on that. I think also what it is music is like with R. Kelly, for example, right? Like all of those songs that we really connect with and that everybody still loves and all of that, they're connected to memories most of the time. They're connected to graduations. They're connected to proms. They're connected to weddings. They're connected to these big moments that you think of that go beyond R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Step in the Name of Love is played at everybody's wedding. It's played at like all these black functions and stuff. So it might just bring you to a place of like thinking about your family or being at the barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like you're not necessarily consciously praising R. Kelly in that moment. It's more, you get what I'm trying to say? Whereas, and then Kanye, he has a lot of music like that, like older Kanye, a lot of his music is more like that, where it has like Touch the Sky, for example. That's such an inspirational song. Like, and you know, he had like a lot more stuff like that. Even All Falls Down, like it had a message behind it, where it was like, it wasn't necessarily a sad song. It was more of like an uplifting song with some storytelling about certain people's situations and stuff like that, you know. But he had stuff that could like resonate with real everyday people, and songs that, you know, would be played at a graduation or like at a celebratory type event. You know, Wait Till I Get My Money Right. That's like a hustler's, like, you know what I'm saying, motivational song. Like, okay, like, just wait. You know what I mean? I'm stunned on these niggas this summer. Just wait till I get my money right. You know what I mean? So it's like he had those. He's not making those now. And this is tough times. You know what I mean? Like, just as a society, people are going through tougher times. So it's harder to connect music with these special memories when there's less of them happening. You know what I mean? Like, there's less people that are getting married because people can't afford it. There's less people having babies because people can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other things that we're not able to necessarily connect the music to. And I think that's part of it as well. And then you're saying Hail Hitler on songs and you're doing all this wild shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're not trying to make good music, number one. And number two, like, all of the good music you made, it's like you're a different person now than you were back then when you were making those songs. So I almost don't know if you're content wise capable of making that type of music anymore. Maybe sonically, yes, but you're gonna be talking about something way different now.
I think we have just collectively made Ali's point that if the song was good, we would have a different opinion. Because if the Hail Hitler, let's just rename it. Let's just say it was Hitler Rocks, right? Okay. But it was a remix to fucking Jesus Walks. Mm-hmm. Same beat, same cadence, same, you know, Hitler walk.
Yeah, I think everybody says it's trash at that point.
We be like,
we listen to the music, like we listening to the words, and we go like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Fuck out of here.
It'd be a where them fans dance and motherfuckers doing the Hail Hitler shit in the, you know, it I promise you, it would not be like, oh, that motherfucker slap though. That's what it would turn into. So, yeah, like just like in sports, when they say winning excuses a whole lot of stuff because y'all winning, Kanye not winning.
Yeah.
So that's really what it. And I don't know if I almost wish. Well, I do know that there is a pathway back for him, because I was gonna say I wish that it was just that we knew it was drugs. Because if you say it was drugs, oh, you just get clean. Hey, I was high.
Right.
That's lit. So his only pathway is to say, I'm on my meds now. I don't know who that was. And then the resurgence of Kanye West is we always love a comeback story and an underdog. Like
this
then
is true.
Like then he just like the world turned on Drake with the Not Like Us, Kanye overnight becomes the face of mental illness.
And like in the poster child of what being on your medicine and being in recovery can do for you.
The poster child, like I'm talking, like you haven't, because the only other person to do this extreme Kanye version and get away with it disappeared into the abyss, and that was Charlie Sheen. like the only publicly to do what you doing, like was Charlie Sheen going at all these people, and then Charlie Sheen just disappeared. Mm-hmm. But you know he was definitely tit for tat or Tiger Blood and all the rest. I mean, he had quotables that we don't even talk about anymore. But right. it was a crazy thing to witness what we talked about too with the Cat Stacks in real time.
Yeah.
You know,
that changes a lot of the dynamics for sure. The whole witnessing it as it plays out, like that does definitely add something to it when, because you, especially if you're a fan of somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like with, you know, like if you're a fan of somebody or you want to see somebody win, even if you're not a fan of them, right? Like you just want to see them do well. Like there's people like that I have, like where it's like, I don't necessarily, like I fuck with your personality maybe, or I fuck with certain things about you, or maybe I fuck with your background and I understand certain things. So I just want to see you win, even if I don't listen to none of your shit or watch your movies or whatever it is. But he's even putting himself in a position where you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and again, the only fix is, like you said, I think that could work, but then he has to actually stay on his meds for the rest of his life. And do we think that that's realistic? You know what I'm saying? Because he's been on meds before. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't wild out again. Like now at this point, like, because it's been years now. You know what I'm saying? So if you were to come back and say, look, that was bipolar, you know, episodes, or, you know, I don't want to necessarily, you know, be ableist towards bipolar people, but any mental disorder that will make you act out of character. I'll just say it that way. You know what I mean? I don't want to diss anybody in the audience who may, you know what I'm saying, like suffer from any of these individual afflictions. So, but you know, that's what I mean though. Like you've done this before. You've said I'm bipolar. It's awesome. It's my superpower and all of this shit on your album cover. And then you say you refuse to take your medicine because it makes you feel like you don't, you know, you're not alive and you can't be creative and all. Okay, I understand that. I've heard other people say the same thing, so I believe that. But this is the alternative, though. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
so I think, like, you know, what did they say? When you go through like the meetings and you know, like the stages of grief, and you know, and all of those levels of like battling addiction and everything like that. Kanye's road to recovery and redemption story, one would be him making amends, right? Now, certain people, for him to make amends is just an apology, right? But the number one, if he turns into the greatest father, you know, and let's just say in this order. First, he went. I don't want to say win because that's not. I don't think they'll get back together. But Kim believes him in his road to recovery. Just to get that right there. Just for her to say, like, you know what, he had been X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3, but he's no longer like that. And what he does for the family and this, that, and the third, we have a co-parenting situation. That's first amends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That I feel like would open the door down the road years later. Let's just say it takes him 3 years to get Kim back, right? After that 3 years, within the next 5, if Jay-Z was to say the same thing, Kanye's back. Kanye's back like he never left.
I mean, it'll be hard to get.
I will say those,
now,
but that's
right.
what
You call that nigga's kids retarded, bro. Like,
huh?
I was like, it's gonna be. Allie said it's gonna be hard to get Jay back, and I said, right. You called his kids retarded.
right?
But that's what I'm saying.
I do see what you mean.
If I sincerely apologize and
Jay sincerely forgives him,
and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said this. That's why I said Kim is first, because if Kim says, "Oh no, he's like this and he's really changed and he's a different person," the person who's closest to him, because his mama's gone, like he has nobody else to really vouch for him. Like she would have to open up the door to say, "No, he's doing X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3 the right way, and has been, and it's been quiet, and we haven't heard anything." Like that's why I said she would be first. And then I say when Jay like, "Oh well, damn, I do see him doing this, and he has publicly apologized and had done this and had, I said what I said," and then I said if Jay chose to come out publicly and say that, then I said he's back. But if those two, but the work that he would have to do on his end is so
astronomical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not like it's not unbelievable. It's gonna take a lot of time.
True.
Yeah.
And sincere, genuine effort. Like, so I mean, it's not past him, but that's what I said. He could be, there is a pathway back.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, will he ever take the path?
Hell no.
I doubt it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm like, at this point, there's no evidence that I've seen to suggest that he would do any of that shit. Or if he does do it, he would come right back out the next day and take it all back and then say, "Oh, actually, I was bugging when I apologized, and I'm gonna double down on the
10-year social experiment." Like,
right.
Exactly. He is the type of weirdo to do some stupid shit like that. So, yeah. But you know what? I'm glad that that you mentioned the Drake and Kendrick beef. So I mean, I figure we're just gonna see what happens with Ye next. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be another dumbass song that we can just dissect later. But let's get into some real art. Okay, let's get into a little bit of an anniversary moment. So almost, I think a little bit over a year ago, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef started brewing. So it actually happened on March 22nd, 2024 was like the official first round, I guess. So basically, Drake and J. Cole jumped on a song together called First Person Shooter Mode or First Person Shooter, something like that. And they basically were saying that they were the best two in the rap game, and that the whole topic of that there's actually three at the top of the rap game was untrue, because they were saying that Kendrick Lamar is not a part of this crew. Like, it's just us two. So Kendrick heard about it, and then he jumped on Future and Metro Boomin's album, and on one of the songs, he decided to go ahead and address First Person Shooter and decided to go ahead and just spray at both J. Cole and Drake. And it really started this whole earth-shattering rap beef between Drake and just Kendrick. And it has lasted for at least a year now. So we've come full circle since Kendrick answered back to Drake and J. Cole's song. And so, yeah, I think I think that, like, they responded, like, the people say that the official day is like some date in April that, like, I guess round 2 happens, but either way, it basically started around this time. So we had to bring it back up and see, if the rap beef turned out the way we thought, if any of our predictions came true. So definitely would love to hear from the fellas and see what they think. If they feel as though, maybe Drake, did Drake truly lose? Is he still in the position that we left him in last?
It's worse.
So what do you guys think?
I think it's worse now.
It's worse? Really?
I didn't expect him to be gone for this long. I thought he would have dropped something by now. Like, he would have been back in, like, rotation by now. It's been a year.
Wait, I don't think that's fair though, because he did drop.
Disagree.
He did drop.
I thought
See,
Drake,
and that's the issue right there. The fact that you had to even tell me he did drop means there's a problem, because why don't I know that?
I thought, because he dropped with that Party Next Door shit. No, I thought Drake was gonna drop some heat.
Right.
Right.
And that didn't have, what he dropped was something that I
forgot about the Party Next Door shit. You're right. I do remember that.
Yeah. What I feel like was something that was just in the archive and just like, oh, let me test. No, I think I know that there's a hard drive that of guaranteed bangers that Drake, that he's still, and I thought one of those would have gotten released. I do not believe that Drake does not have a banger or one in the clip that is an instant go. And I thought in this year that we would have gotten it, and we haven't.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
So I agree, and I agree with y'all mostly, but I slightly disagree. So, but my disagreement isn't necessarily on if he's back necessarily from the rap beef. That's not really what my disagreement is on. Do I think he has lost and has significantly been damaged because of this beef? Absolutely. There's not even the shadow of a doubt about it to me. Do I think he's completely, all his momentum is gone though, and he's just completely out of here? No, I don't. And it's more than just him being on tour over in Australia. Like, I know a lot of people are downplaying that, but that is a really major thing for him to still be doing. But it's not even that. It's the fact that he was still able to, on a throwaway, because I'm going to call it what it is, people. I know that people were excited about Drake and a Party Next Door dropping a collaboration album, but it's a throwaway album.
For sure.
So, like we can call it what it is. But the fact that he was able to still get like a relative hit off of that album with that Nokia record, I've only heard it like maybe like once or twice, but people have been asking me or like just having it in conversation like about that song. And I've already seen a lot of people talking about the video. Like, it's not one of those songs that has no traction. Like, it's up there on the Billboard charts. So that told me right there that, oh, you just put this out as a throwaway and you still kind of ran off with a sneak hit. So that tells me in my mind that no, Drake, people still like Drake and people want to rock with it. But as far as what Marcus is talking about, I do agree with that part. We have not gotten that certified heat rocker slap him over the head with it. He dropped one little rap song on that album that was like, it was cool. Like, it had some cool bars on it and shit. Like, it was nice to hear him back on the rap shit. But as far as like that killer instinct Drake that we knew, like, I think that guy, it's gonna be a long time if and when we ever see that guy again.
Yeah.
Well, let me push you on that, Eric, just for a little bit, because how much of that do you think is what I will call the Tekashi effect? And here's what I mean when I say that. When he got out of the feds, when Tekashi got out of the feds, the first song that he dropped in his first live and all that shit, giant numbers, huge numbers. A lot of that was just because people were tuning in to be like, what is this nigga about to say? Not fans, not people who like him, but just people who were like curious, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, everything immediately dipped off. So when I say the Tekashi effect, I'm saying like, how much of that do you think is with what Drake's first single was or whatever? Because I admit, like you say, throwaway record or whatever, maybe charting, maybe doing XYZ. How much of that, though, do you think is people like, okay, this is Drake's first thing after the battle, let's see what he says, versus just genuine, oh, thank God Drake dropped another record fans?
I think you got to call it different in this case for a couple of reasons. Number one, this was a Party Next Door and a Drake album. It wasn't just a Drake album. So people weren't, when Tekashi first dropped, it was his first solo project back after everything had happened. And there was a lot of hype around just him himself. Whereas Drake took the sneaky route on this. And like I said, this was a throwaway album that he did with Party Next Door. So it's not like he jumped out the window all by himself. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, this record was so low on the track listing of the album that there's no way I think any of them expected that record to be a hit. Personally, I didn't expect that record to be a hit when I first heard it. I didn't like it when I first heard it.
Are we talking about Nokia?
Yeah.
I always thought that it was at the beginning of the album. I didn't realize it was at the end.
I'm pretty sure it's towards like the end of the album.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken.
Did they put it out as a single though?
That's what I said. I thought it was a single, so I always assumed it was at the top of the list.
No,
okay.
they never put, and that was the other thing. They never put that out as a single either, because they did drop the whole album at once. So I don't really think they even had a single that led off of there. So I think so that's another reason why I say it was a sneaky hit, because the album came out by itself, and then that became the single because the fans love that record.
I got you. Okay, you think it's the other way around? Well, honestly, I like to think that my prediction was correct in terms of, I really truly believe that he had this motherfucker in the tuck. I think that he knew it was going to kind of give us the same vibe as Hotline Bling. And he was always going to have that one in his holster in case of a moment like this. Like in case of emergency, break glass, use that motherfucker. I feel like I think that's what he did, because my prediction was, after this whole rap beef, I did not think that he was going to double down on doing the whole mob talk and all that. I didn't think that at all. I was like, no, once you get your ass handed in a battle like that, the last thing you need to do is remind people that you're on that mob talk shit. Like, no, let's just wait out, right? Thank you, Potato. But yes, so I honestly think that what he did was, he realized, okay, I have to get a hit. I need to get motherfuckers dancing again, because that's really what we know Drake from. That's really why he's a mega star, not necessarily because, not because his lyrics are always, don't get me wrong, he always has some good, decent lyrics, but I mean, like, majority of people that are talking about him in terms of like always being in the mainstream, always being on the radio, usually it has to do with like some type of poppy type of song, something that's going to get you dancing, something that can be played anywhere. And so I think that this was definitely a break in, use in case of emergency situation. I think that he knew that it would get people listening to him on a mainstream basis. I think it was also smart because it was like one of those earworm songs that like wiggle into your brain and kind of stay there, so that like even the kids were singing it. And these are the same kids that were just a little while ago screaming the A minor line. So I feel like he did a really good job of like easing right on back in without missing too much, on pace, not missing too many steps. Now, I think that he needs to stay here for a while, though. I don't think that anybody really needs to hear a mob talk from him again. I truly believe that after this, we're going to hear some more Loverboy shit, just like kind of similar to the rest of the Party album that he did. And then we'll probably get more hits. And then eventually we might get Money Talk or Mob Talk, but it'll have to be like 21 Savage or a Young Thug thing. It can't be just, I'm out here trying this shit again on my own.
Yeah, he needs to get back to what was his first album called? Not So Far Gone. Season. That one too, but
Comeback Season.
No, album.
Oh, Thank Me Later.
Yeah. Like theme and content wise, he needs to go back there. Not necessarily sonically, because you don't want to go backwards sonically, but as far as content and like the subjects he was rapping about, get back in that pocket. You know what I mean? Sure. And just, bring it to a 2025 version, because a lot of those themes and stuff repeat. It's stuff that you go through your whole life. It just happens in different forms. So he can talk about that type of stuff. And I think that we would appreciate him for it again. And like you said, get back in that pop club, you know what I'm saying? Fun bag. Like if you stay in that lane, I think you'll be all right. But yeah, like no street, nothing for a while. Like
the toughest that he needs to be talking is was on that Lord Knows record with Rick Ross.
You're right.
And he wasn't even tough rapping. Those were just really good bars.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, there's only one avenue that Drake can talk tough, even talk drill, if he wants to, and be a hit and come back. Right, all three. So it has to be a hit, have to have some bars, and it has to be like, okay, this is that certified banger we've been waiting on.
Yeah.
I think he has to do it with Shiesty.
Really?
And I think he has to do it with Shiesty before Shiesty gets back established. Like it has to be early stage. Like when Shiesty comes out and is part of his, it has to be. Or it cannot be like, oh, he has a wave. Drake has to initiate the Shiesty wave.
Oh, so you're saying like he has to make it seem like he resurrected Shiesty,
or just vice versa.
Okay.
Or he resurrected me. I resurrect, like kind of like the same thing when he did like when he had Take Keith on the, but look alive, like that kind of like it has to be that kind of feel to it.
Okay.
So, you took the words right out of my mouth. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's the only artist that I can even in the next 14 months.
Because Drake wasn't really talking tough on Look Alive either, so that could still work. On Look Alive, that was just him. That was a fun record. So
yeah,
he can let Shiesty be on that. So let Shiesty do that.
That's so true, though.
But
but I mean, okay, all right.
There's some Jewish gangsters out there, man.
Right, shout out to all these guys. But I just don't know. Do you guys really think that Pooh Shiesty has that much clout, though? I mean, this nigga has been locked up for a minute. Yes. I know that he had the mask and stuff, but does he really have that much of a hold?
Shiesty. I think with Shiesty is going to be more of a is less of a, it's more of a movement type of deal with Shiesty than it is like individual songs. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not like we're looking for like that one hit to bring Shiesty back. We're just looking for Shiesty's music to come back. We just, give us 30 tracks that all sound vaguely similar. That's cool. That's what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of Shiesty,
like
that's
NBA young boy, but just like,
or even like, like a Sada Baby, or like there's certain rappers who it's Icewear Vezo. Like you don't necessarily need a full project from these niggas. Just give me 6 tracks every month that are hard, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I think Shiesty is that kind of rapper. So he's more of a movement rapper. So it's like whatever he's doing, his following is all gonna fuck with it. So and that can result in bigger numbers if you do come across those hits. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not like he's incapable of making the hits. I just don't think he's like known for a hit. He's more known for The Mask. You know what I'm saying? Than one of his records.
I'm more eager to hear Shiesty music post incarceration than I was Thug for the entire trial.
I don't know if the majority of people feel that way, but I feel you though, because I feel
you on that too.
Yeah, like I wasn't even when Thug was going. Like I wasn't like, okay, what is he going? What's his first single going to be? Like I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
Or even I ain't gonna say looking, like I wasn't like anticipating, like I'm just like on the edge of my seat. But with Shiesty, I am. I mean, you got Dirk's not dropping anything right now.
Yeah.
Finesse 2 times just got violated for parole violation. I mean,
oh yeah, he was arguing with that little kid.
So
that was hilarious.
Low key, I'm gonna say this: Boss Man D-Lo was a flop.
Really?
Yeah, he kind of was.
Because his hype was at a level that was unsustainable, and it was never. Boss Man D-Lo had the same amount of hype as T Grizzly, and T Grizzly never fell off.
Do we think Ye should retire?
Ooh. I feel like he should have retired a few albums ago, to be honest. If he had ended on that gospel album, legendary status, I think. Because everyone would have been like, how the fuck you go from rap to gospel? And it's all amazing. It's a hit. I think he would have really protected his legacy if he had stopped there. But now if he retires, I don't know if it's so good to leave on such a shitty note. But I mean, I don't know if you can really turn back now.
Nobody listening to the new albums he's dropping right now. He can go ahead and bow out gracefully. we'll remember his last shit as Donda, and that'll be all right.
But I also, I ain't gonna lie though. I remember Ye being in that Atlanta stadium with that stupid ass mask and going up to the keyboard and playing the ding, and the whole, and it was just the one note. That was his Michael Jackson moment. That, you know, it just one note. Then came back, ding, ding, and I mean, this is just like no one.
That was back when he could do no wrong.
Right.
It was.
That was back when he could do no wrong. Niggas was so ready for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy when that shit was dropping. They were it had only been like 3 years since like Kanye album, but back then 3 years felt like
for that album. No.
we was like, nigga, hurry up.
Because that was the joint, because that came after the auto-tune joint, right? That was like his next rap album after all of that. So we was like, all right, that album was cool, but get back to the rap, nigga. Like, come on. And then
that album leaked like 3 times too. So people were like, oh man, we're not gonna get it now. Then he was doing the Good Friday shit. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he can get that back. So he probably should retire. Will he? I doubt it. Just like we hope he takes his meds. Will he? Doubt it.
Most rappers don't retire anyway, but that's a story for another podcast.
Right. They just take longer and longer breaks.
Topic. That's a really good topic.
Okay, this is the last Ye question. Who gets a Grammy first? Kanye, Sexy Red.
At this point,
Sexy Red. Now? Sexy Red.
Really?
Today, Sexy Red.
For real? I mean, I don't know.
They put this woman on Bruno Mars tracks. She's gonna get a Grammy. Even if the industry will find a way to get this woman,
they'll figure it out. They'll finesse her.
They will find a way.
They absolutely will.
Wait till you hear the Sexy Red Taylor Swift joint, and then you tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she might get this on by the city.
But or would y'all be like, you know what? Actually, Taylor cooler than we thought.
So people already kind of looking at her like that now. So
I'm saying, right? Like once they saw her dancing and Not Like Us, you know what I'm saying? They was like, oh shit, wait a minute, Taylor, you on the right side of this?
I was pretty impressed with that shit too. I can't.
So that's her. Who just did that? That's her Dirk J. Cole moment.
Yeah.
That's a funny ass comparison.
But it is though. That's why I hesitated, but I was like, oh, I get what he's saying. Yes.
I'm a Sexy Red fan. I don't believe the Grammys will ever give her that kind of recognition. Just ever.
Yeah, no. If you're asking me if I think either of them will ever get a Grammy, the answer is no. But if you give me an either or,
if you're giving me an either or,
then I gotta go Sexy right now. Yeah. Get it sexy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild, dude. I thought that would honestly.
Gang shit.
Would have never thought this day would come, but yeah. I guess so. I guess that's the reality we're in now. That's crazy as fuck. Anyhow, all right. So we've definitely talked Ye to death. But I mean, and we talked a little bit about the Kendrick Drake beef. I mean, I think it is just crazy that it's been a whole year. I remember when we first started this conversation, and at the time we were just like, "Oh shit! Like, what is gonna happen?" I think we kind of knew it was about to get wild, but I did not know it was gonna get like to that level, honestly. And halfway through, I started getting sick of it because it was like, God damn, like.
The wildest part about it to me still was just the like time frame. Like when it really started heating up and songs were just dropping like every other day. Mm-hmm. It was just such a crazy feeling, especially when Kendrick came back with, I don't remember what the order was because it was like Kendrick dropped some song on Instagram and then Meet the Grams came out like right after that because it stepped on I think it stepped on Family Matters, which Drake had like just dropped. So it was just really crazy to see how like fast they were tuning some of these shits out. and then obviously Not Like Us came out, and the rest was history from there.
Because Kendrick had that timestamp record. That's the one you're talking about. I think that came out on Instagram. Like Kendrick did his own timestamp record. I forgot what it was called. It was like 6 a.m. in Toronto or some shit like that. But
the Family Matters. Drake won the battle with Family Matters for 52 minutes. He dropped it, and for 52 minutes he was winning, and then 52 minutes later he lost.
Yes.
I remember niggas got in the group chat hype. Marcus hit us like, nigga, did y'all hear this shit? Like we was like, we listening to it now, nigga.
Yeah. And then 52 minutes later, I was like, oh my God.
Right back in there.
Yes.
Like,
y'all.
Yeah.
The funniest person recap to watch is probably DJ Academics.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, because he was on stream the whole time. So
and he was turned. He thought Drake was up.
He in the chair grooving, dancing, Family Matters and shit, and then niggas is hitting him up on stream like, "Yo, Kendrick dropped again."
He's like, "Wait, what?" And then he played Meet the Grams, and then his whole mood,
his whole night was ruined.
No, oh, I love that. I'm definitely watching it now.
Oh, that was amazing work. That was amazing work. Shout out to whoever in the chat sent him that link and fucked up the whole vibe. That was great.
Yeah, this was so funny.
Seriously. I mean, I do have the timeline if we want to go through it, but I mean, you guys were pretty accurate. But I will say one thing I did not remember was how far apart J. Cole and Drake's song was from Kendrick actually responding. So
so you said something that I wanted to correct you on in the very beginning. So the first person shooter, that song was originally supposed to be Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. And for whatever reason, don't know what happened, but Kendrick does not end up on the record. So they end up doing that big 3 shout out. So it wasn't it wasn't like them throwing out bait or anything. Maybe on Drake's part it was, but on Cole's part it wasn't. So that's how we end up getting the Kendrick responding to the big 3 line, and you get the Cole kind of stepping out there at first and then very quickly retracting his steps back afterwards. So yeah, that's basically how that whole thing ended up. But yeah, the rumor is, because nobody has ever confirmed it or not, but the rumor is that Kendrick was supposed to be on first person shooter.
Got it. I did not know that either. I had no clue. So yeah, thanks for clearing that up, because that makes a little bit more sense now. And especially as to why J. Cole did do the backtracking so soon. Like, I mean, we were all like, yeah, okay, these niggas is finally shooting. And then like Cole was like the only person who was not excited and like immediately took himself out of the running. And people definitely gave him a lot of shit for that too.
I think that's the one thing I was probably wrong about. Is I think niggas kind of forgave Cole now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Like niggas, like I didn't think niggas were gonna forgive Cole for backing out, but now that everybody sees where it went and that Drake is filing lawsuits and niggas is getting called pedophiles and wife beaters and all this wild shit, I think J. Cole knew he knew all of this shit was coming before we did. And so he was like, oh, if that's where it's going, then never mind. Like, I'll battle niggas, but I'm not trying to do all that. Like, I'm just trying to outbar niggas. That's all I'm really interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to dig in personals and do like smack rap battle type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to just rap better than you. That's it. Like, and if you guys are doing more than that, I'm cool. Like, and now I think niggas understand that, and we're like, oh, okay, Cole, you good. We understand. Like,
so this is gonna sound crazy. I agree with everything you said about Cole, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I equally think that like somebody's gonna want to test Cole, and you shouldn't want to test Cole.
Freddie Gibbs is trying it right now, and I want to see that so bad. I want to see that so bad.
So he's been poking at that bear for a while.
So,
yeah,
and that's what and this is gonna sound crazy on Cole's side. Him killing Freddie Gibbs don't do shit.
No,
right, but to lyricists and niggas that really like bars, that's a great battle.
I was gonna say that's actually a good. I feel like that's kind of a little bit better of a matchup.
It's a matchup, but what I'm saying is that somebody of
like status wise
higher than Freddie Gibbs is gonna want to, like, first of all, before the Kendrick and him getting it, Cole was immortal. No, you don't even want to speak on, like, he was feared, you know. Whereas now, like, well, could you take a shot at Cole? It's this window of opportunity, like, of Cole, like, oh, he has a chink in the armor, we can get through. But I think also it has to be the right situation. Freddie Gibbs is not it.
Well, I think that's why he hasn't responded to Freddie.
Yeah,
right.
I think
you know what I'm saying, because I don't think he thinks it's right.
Yeah, we clearly know it's not going to be Kendrick.
Right.
So, like, and if that's the
there had to be like an ASAP Rocky or somebody like that, or like a Big Sean, or somebody on that level, a Currency, somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have to be a Wiz. Wiz isn't a battle nigga, so I don't see it. But like, just somebody on that level. You know what I mean? Like somebody that we would name with them. I think that would be like a formidable opponent for Cole right now.
But I also don't know who has beef with J. Cole. Like, how do you?
That's what I'm saying. It would have to be purely just who can rap better than the other one.
Yeah,
like it would have to basically be like the most that they would say about each other in a really negative way is like how whack the other's music is, how they trash, and maybe some gun bars that you could really just say are metaphors realistically. You know what I'm saying? But they might kill a nigga here and there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you don't take that too serious. This is battle rap. But it would have to be some shit like that, not some back in the 4th grade, your mama cheated on your daddy, and that's not really your day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Cole's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So like, like it can't be that. It has to be, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Okay, prove it.
I don't know how this would happen, but this is just like a personal wish list. The new version of Kevin Gates right now, I would like to see versus Cole.
Wow.
I feel like, because first I feel like the humor that we would get on this echelon, because this echelon of where Kevin thinks he is or where he is in his life.
For real.
You see, tell me that wouldn't be classic.
This dude is so delusional. It would be absolute entertainment. I can't lie. From Kevin, for sure.
It would be a classic for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Right.
And that's my point. That's exactly like it would. Hip hop, it's no longer fun. Like,
that's true. At least like I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about niggas getting shot. I mean, Kevin is a little bit rough, but
true. Like, still. Like, I would tune in for the interviews. I want to hear what Charlemagne's gonna say. I want to see what it's gonna interview. Like, it's gonna get back to those kind of jabs of the who goes on Drink Champs, not like who shows up behind stage. Like, it would go back to what that's what I mean. Like, entertainment factor. I don't think you get a higher entertainment factor than those two. Because
you're not gonna have to worry about 40 people surrounding your building. Nothing like that.
No.
Right. I mean, you might end up with like sage left out in front of your your house or something like that. That's the most them niggas is gonna do. So I mean, it would be entertaining, and we would not fear for anyone's life this time.
That dead car battery that you ain't jump, bitch, might work tomorrow.
My niggas
might work. Right. Exactly. They're the type of niggas to like bless you. That's their type of, like pettiness. Like, have you guys seen? There's this video going around.
He a grand rising ass nigga.
Huh?
That's he a grand rising ass nigga.
Exactly. So these niggas would grand rise each other and grand blessings each other to death, and that would really just be, hilarious. I would love to watch that.
These niggas overstand.
Oh, God.
They don't.
So hold on. You saying it'd be like the grind? It'd be like what's that? The grind time, the compliment battles.
Yes, like so. I want this. Yes, like where they just compliment each other and just bless each other's life, and you're just like, these niggas are so shady, but like they're not saying anything wrong. You know what I mean? So I think it would actually be really funny and yeah, different. So I'd be for it. I love that matchup. That's genius.
Who's my mans that used to kill them shits?
What, the compliment battles?
Yeah,
oh yeah, you already know. R.I.P.
Pat Stay.
Pat Stay definitely.
Yeah,
he
R.I.P.
did great.
Pat Stay, man. Damn.
R.I.P. Big Pat. You already know. Look at you go.
And if you're a real fan of battle rap, my second favorite battle rapper, my personal favorite, not on the Mount Rushmore or nothing like that, fan favorite, people's champ, is making a comeback, and that's O Solo.
Oh, let's go.
Oh shit, okay.
I have been seeing his name on YouTube a lot lately.
O Solo is making a comeback, and I'm here. I haven't been this excited about a battle rapper since Tech 9.
Bring 4.
Like with
one nigga bring 2 niggas, and 3 niggas go get more.
I said O Solo was the only nigga. If the 100 niggas that I'm bringing versus the gorilla is O Solo's niggas, then
oh yeah, we good. We good.
But
we good.
But yeah, O Solo is a fan, is like a personal people's champ fan favorite.
No, that nigga's amazing.
And
that nigga had Swave Sever busting out laughing on stage when they were rapping against each other. Like,
yeah. And like this, like, cause I'm always I'm a stand-up comedian type of guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I'll never forget the documentary when they was talking about who was the best comedian, ever, and they was like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, all of these people. And I want to say it was either Chris Rock or so one of the notable names, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was like hands down Bill Cosby. And they was like, what? And he was like, Bill Cosby? How could you say Bill Cosby? He was like, well, Bill Cosby was a clean comic who did Exodus and told you all these values, whatever. But he, everybody has a piece of Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, or this in their act. Bill was so good that nobody even tried.
Mm.
And when he said it like that, I was like, damn. O Solo is the same way. Ain't nobody tried to copy his style. And this is battle rap where everything, everybody's a new version of something that you saw. No one has copied that. So I fuck with O Solo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, that's fact. I'm glad he's coming back. That's what's up.
Yeah. Ooh, real quick before we go, because this is a bit longer than I think any of us expected it to be. But before we go, since we are talking about fights, did anybody see the no jumper drama that's been going on? Like, I'm not an expert by any means, but apparently Adam almost got his ass kicked. So if anybody wants to lead the way and explain what the fuck was going on over there, I'd love that.
I mean, the short version of it is he has an employee who, funny enough, is also in the battle rap world. Shout out to Lush One. He has a employee named Lush One who allegedly has issues with drugs and may or may not make bad decisions when he is on drug binges. So he's texting with this dude named Travis Ford, who's I think a rapper, also a business owner. I know he does business with Whack 100, and he's also, allegedly gang member. So he shows up to the No Jumper building with a cake and a bunch of his guys and gifts, drinks, party favors, etc. Prepared to do like some content, in the No Jumper building. He's ready to shoot some podcasts. And they were basically there on like a peace agenda. You know what I mean? Like basically trying to be on some, the east side and the west side, we can come together and, squash the shit that we got going on. We all Crips, blah, blah, blah. So that was the goal. So they were up there actually not on bullshit, right?
Okay.
Adam allegedly didn't know that they were coming. Lush set all of this up, and he wasn't even there when they all showed up. You know what I'm saying? So Adam is in there with his wife and some other chicks because he does this show called Plug Talk where him and his wife be doing their thing with ladies, you know what I'm saying? And so they were shooting that content. So it's just him and a bunch of porno chicks in the building. That's it. And 40 Crip niggas roll up. So,
and keep in mind, Lush was not there.
Lush was not there, and he's the nigga that invited all of them to the building, right? So the text messages leak, you know, between Travis Ford and Lush, because Lush tries to lie his way out of it. Like, no, I thought he was only gonna bring like 2-3 people, and we were just gonna shoot a little bit of content and blah blah blah, and that was gonna be that. Like, I didn't know he was gonna bring all of them. The text messages leak because Travis Ford's like, bullshit. I told you I was bringing everybody. The texts come out. He says, I'm bringing cake, drinks, and the hood. Those are his exact words. And Lush said, yes, sirski. Now, if anybody's familiar with gang lingo, especially in California, the hood means everybody. That's everybody in the gang. Everybody who's around, they coming. You know what I'm saying? Not a few niggas from the hood, not a couple of the homies. I'm bringing the hood. That was the words that were used. So
also,
the hood shows up.
Doesn't have a specified number. That can be 10, that can be 30, that can be 50.
Yeah, like you don't know what that means. You can't just agree to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, phone calls are being made all over the place between Wack and Adam and Lush, and they're all trying to figure out what's going on. So Lush is like trying to hurry up and get up there. So Lush is going in the building, talking to Adam and them, coming outside, talking to Travis and them, and he's telling everybody 2 different stories. You know what I'm saying? He's like trying to make it with Travis, like, no, we still gonna be able to do something, blah, blah, blah. Like, we might just have to like move locations, and I got cameras that we can use and blah, blah, blah. And Adam's like, what the fuck are you doing? No to all of this. Like, I didn't say, you didn't even talk to me about none of this. So the end result is, you know, all these Crip dudes, they're upset, and they allegedly put a ban on Adam22, and they say that they're going to be fucking up his building every day, doing vandalism and shit like that until he leaves LA. Because he plays too much, you know, with gangbangers. He's always having different gang members and gang rivals on the show and trolling and playing with the streets and doing all of this. So they're like, okay, like you keep playing around. And then again, half of his staff, all of which are Crips, they're all in jail right now. Crip Max in jail, Brick Baby's in jail, Loose Cannon's in jail, 4 Extras is back in jail. That's all of them. So there you go. You know what I mean? All the Crips who used to be in No Jumper, they all left and they're all successful now doing their streaming thing. You know what I mean? All the ones who replaced them are now in jail. So that's the update on Adam22 right now. So podcasters, you know, if you're not really in the streets, don't fuck around with it, because you could have your building surrounded by 40 people. Eric, you saw some of the videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, good luck to them. I think they called it off or whatever at this point, because I think they finally had a discussion. But I mean, shit, even if they did have a discussion, I mean, and even if this was on Lush, it's still somebody that's under you as Adam, as the person. And it's just crazy, man. Like something... Eventually, it's gonna be a point to where it's, even if it's by him directly or indirectly, something is gonna happen to where it's not gonna be so funny anymore. And you know, I don't wish that upon anybody, but it's just like, if moves continue to happen in the cycle that they are, then I don't really see how there can be a positive outcome.
You got dudes getting hit in the head with slam outside in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Just getting pistol whipped upside the head. It's on camera going viral, you know, getting stripped, you know, in your parking lot. You got dudes fighting on camera. Everybody's on 6-0 this, on Neighborhood Crip that, on Inglewood Families this, on, you know what I'm saying? And they're just doing all of this on camera. You got niggas talking about, I got more murders than you got fights. Like you have all of this happening in your building. You know what I mean? Like eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like something, yeah. Eventually something's going to happen to you. It's going to get close enough to you to where you can't avoid it anymore. You know,
Right.
that's the issue. So it's like, you know, as somebody in media who it's like, you know, like, I don't know, man, like, is the clout worth the clicks and the money that much? I guess is my question.
And then what's also interesting is that, I mean, I'm sure for a while he would say yes, but at the last that I heard that was going on over there is that because so many people are in jail and because he's having problems, I think just like making payroll and being able to afford everybody, like I could have sworn he was going to make a pause anyway because he's not making as much money as he once did. So, I mean, I'm sure, like, just like for Tekashi, we mentioned him already in this episode. It works for a while. And for Kanye, you know, it works for a while, but you can't continue to tap that well and think that that is just going to always flow. So now you got to have some fucking talent, bro. So figure it the fuck out. That's what it sounds like.
I think that's kind of the moral to this whole episode. Realistically, it's like the whole chasing clout, doing things for shock value, trying to get those momentary, you know, shocking times. They don't last, you know what I mean? Like they don't last. People talk about them for a hot second and then they move on. Like, so, you know, if you want your stuff to last, you know, you have to actually put thought and effort and energy into it rather than just trying to go for the, you know, the shock value or the thing that's going to work in the moment. Because like you said, it's not sustainable. It's going to fall off at some point.
At some point, yeah. People stop looking, you know? So yes, let this be a lesson to everybody out there. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm sure the rest of the crew does as well. And make sure that you guys check us out right here on Ethos Media Network on YouTube. And you can also check us out on Patreon as well. We always have really good candid conversations over there. Every episode is going to be, you know, something different for you guys. So just go check that one out to see what we have in store for you. But you can always expect a new Bar Exam episode right here on YouTube every single Monday. So make sure you guys lock that into your calendar. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. This is Bar Exam. Bye.
Peace.